the Branding by Joe Client Spotlight interview series. I'm Joe Espejo, founder of Branding by Joe, and in this series, we're putting the spotlight on inspiring entrepreneurs who are transforming their industries and elevating their brands. Each episode, we explore their journeys, challenges, and wins to uncover insights that will spark new ideas for your own business. So let's dive in. In this episode, we're featuring Ashley Voltoline, the founder of Get Me Automated. Ashley has built a unique business dedicated to helping companies streamline operations and scale effectively through automation. Her commitment to innovation, personalized service, and growth has positioned Get Me Automated as a trusted partner for business looking to enhance customer engagement and efficiency. Ashley's story is a testament to the power of automation and her dedication to seeing clients thrive. Let's hear more about her journey. Ashley, can we start with a bit about your brand? Can you share your brand's vision and give me some details as to how you even came up with this and got started?
With the name Get Me Automated?
Just overall, Get Me Automated, or what even got you into wanting to do this business?
I've always been into computer stuff. I have a computer science degree, and then I worked for other automation companies, digital marketing agencies, and I really liked the automation piece. So I decided to start Get Me Automated. And then I didn't really start branding until I got my photos done with you. That's when I started kind of getting into my brand and my colors and stuff like that. So we had just done the website probably 2 years ago. And so I got the yellow and the blue colors and then decided to go from there.
Okay. So Get Me Automated formed from the need for automation.
Right.
Yes. And then what made you want to leave? So I'm assuming you were working for a company before.
I did, yes.
Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
No.
Was this something that came up what fueled your decision to go out on your own?
So I was working at, I had 2 jobs at the same time. And the second job was the automation job. And so I decided to quit my day job and do that. And then it was right before COVID. I decided that I was starting to get my own clients and build up my own business on the side. And so I decided to go out on my own, which is still scary, but it fits me better, the lifestyle that I was looking for. So
okay.
Yeah.
So being able to focus on, and I know from your personal lifestyle, you cook every day, you do all these things. So having that flexibility and freedom.
Right.
Perfect. So tell me a little bit about how you were getting clients before. What were some of the things that you were doing? Because you mentioned you just did brand photos. I guess it's been almost a year ago,
right.
Yeah?
Yes.
But what were you doing prior to? You got the website.
Word of mouth a lot, which was great. And then, that only goes so far. We were doing Upwork, and then we're also Keep partners. So we were getting a lot of leads from there. But so I didn't really brand myself because there was a lot of leads coming in.
Okay.
And there wasn't a need for that. And so just recently I've started expanding on branding myself and not having just our logo, because I did just have our logo before I got my photos with you. So just the leads were...
Okay. So what sparked the desire to want to try something different?
Well, it was kind of not coming in as fast from those sources. So I knew that I needed to branch out to other sources. So I joined BNI, the networking group. And so realized that I need to build trust with people instead of just when the leads aren't coming in from a website. I have to have people trust me, and I need to show them who I am. And so that's what made me want to start doing this. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And have you seen a difference? So has it helped, and how has it helped since you started your branding?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone on my social media that I've known forever, sometimes it's family or friends that I've known forever. Everyone thinks now that I've hit this giant milestone in life, which I love the support, but I think a lot of it has to do with my photos. They see my photos on my website and that I use on social media, and it just makes that appear like I'm, a lot more professional. It definitely, I am professional, but it shows the professionality of my brand. So
I love that. And I hear that so often. You're not the only person that has told me and I see it too. So I follow my clients on social media, and I love the comments when they start streaming in. They post a photo from the session, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you've hit it. You've made it so big."
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh because all you're like, I just took photos.
Yeah.
But that's honestly the same for my own personal journey. The first time I did my own brand session, I did a mini brand session, and I posted a photo, not even holding a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And kid you not, had people asking me, even though I'd been doing photography for 10 years, or saying "Oh, Joe, I didn't know you were a photographer." I'm going, what do you mean you don't know I was a photographer? I've been doing this for 10 years. And you just commented on my social media where I just post work of my clients.
Right.
But they didn't put 2 and 2 together. And so I asked a couple of the people that commented that I knew from like the sidelines or something that wasn't super close to me. And I said, how did you not know? And they said, honestly, like we'd see the pictures and it was great, but we didn't realize that you were the one taking them.
Right.
And so then when I started posting photos of myself, it was making them actually stop and read what I was saying. And then it builds that know, like, and trust factor.
Right.
Which I love.
Having your own face being there. Yeah. And having not just using, I get that a lot too. Not just using stock photos, like, or having personalized stock photos, which you always include in our packages, which is nice. Yes. So it's like my hand or my face with, my equipment that I'm using. So I like.
So how has that helped? So having these custom stock photos, like how has that helped in your business? Like, cause I know, and I want to talk some more about your services too, but like you do email and your automations and all that stuff, but how has having these custom stock photos or a library of images helped you when you're creating stuff?
It's making it like really quick now to go and make landing pages and pop a picture into an email. And it's really nice not having to go and look. And, it makes it easy to plan out my marketing that I'm doing. So
I love that.
Yeah.
And then it keeps it. And I think you said the other day that you had a client that got on the call and said something about your website. Right. What was that?
Yeah. He's like, oh my gosh, you actually look like the picture on your website. He said so many people just use stock photos. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
me.
So it helped. Actually, I did get the client and it helped, build that trust because he felt like he'd already seen me and, so that was good.
Oh, I love that. It builds that connection before they even get on the phone with you,
right.
Which is something that I say, but then I'm like, I love that it actually has a real world experience.
Yeah.
Because, I can say it all the time and sometimes people are like, yeah, okay, sure. But then when it actually comes to fruition, I love that. Okay. So tell me more about Get Me Automated. So I know I have used you for so many things and it's things even that I didn't even know were a possibility. But so walk me through, I remember our first meeting where I was like, all right, I don't even know what I need to know. But like if you were meeting with a first time business owner who has zero automations in place, what are some of the first things that you recommend as far as being options to automate?
I would find out, like, are they at a point in their business where they have some tasks that are taking too much of their time or that they're not able to get to? So I think for you, it was like bringing in clients and sending out information in a timely manner because you were starting to get overwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
And like, Facebook ads, any kind of Google ads, that's always a good place to start to bring in leads. So I would just find out what they're doing and, what they're replicating, what they're doing a lot of each day manually and find out what we can automate from there.
And some of those things are like as simple as emails.
Right.
Correct. So like I know that when I first came and we were talking and you're like, that it can automatically send an email. And then if you do this, it'll automatically do this whole trigger of things. I was like, no, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So wait, what? There's a thing that you can actually set this up to take this task off your plate. So one of the things that she looked at was my processes. And so that's one of the things that as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, what are you doing, as you mentioned, on a regular basis that you can have systems set up? And so that was fantastic. And I was like, I love the idea of it, but you actually go in and do it. So like you created the email and then set up all the back end stuff so that it just started working.
Right. We use Zapier to connect your two softwares together so that they would talk to each other and do that automatically. So there's a lot of, software, pretty much any software you have can be connected. So we just talk to the client and find out what they already use. Never want to change people off of the softwares that they're already using because pretty much everything can talk to each other these days. So
yeah, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So for those of us that are not tech savvy, we're like, oh, sure, it can talk. That's fantastic. So what are some of the other processes that you have small business owners automating that maybe we're not even aware as an option?
Well, like I said, the Google ads, that's a big one. So when people come in from your paid ads, they need to land on a landing page. That's super important because if it's not optimized and ready to receive their information, then they just land on there for nothing. So and then bringing those leads into another software that sends them out an email or text, hey, we're glad you're here, because following up with people right away when they've reached out to you is important. Like that's like you're going to, on a lot of industries, you'll lose the business. If someone's like looking for a plumber right now and you didn't get right back to them when they were looking for it, at least with an automated text or something like, hey, we got this, we'll be right back to you. So that's important. Just being timely to reply to people.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
you can do email, you can do text.
Yeah.
And then set up the systems.
Right.
Okay. And then what are some of the other things? So I think, tell me about this new service that you just launched out. It's like your monthly membership.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it's just for, because I do get a lot of people have somewhat of an idea what they're doing, or they have, or they want to learn, which is great. So just being there for questions, email and text questions, like unlimited questions. And if you're new to Zapier or Make, any of the softwares that connect software, you can be on our account. So we'll give you your own login and you can connect your softwares without us having to see your passwords. And then we can help you set up your first apps and get going. So, and then also an SEO report monthly, because that's important for you to make sure that all of your emails and web pages are optimized for SEO.
Which is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
It's like you think you're doing all the things, right? It's like, I've got a website up, I've got the domain, I've got the content. And then all of a sudden you get this report and it's like, oh, okay, here's all the areas that really could use some improvement. And I don't like failing. I think I looked at mine. I was like, okay, cool. Mine's not doing great. Help me. And then what was the thing I emailed you about the other day? I think I'm paying for multiple things. And so it was so great.
Oh, right.
To be able to just quickly send an email and say, do I need this? Do I need both of these? And if not, and then my favorite thing about your service too is that you will do it, but then you'll also send me a video so that if I want to learn how to do it myself or understand what you did, you're showing that.
Right.
And you use that. Loom. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm a visual learner and I also, it's kind of lazy on my part too, just to record it and not have to type out everything, so, but it's good for the client to be able to see what I'm talking about. So,
okay.
I think,
yeah, that's been super helpful.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, oh, okay, I have a good idea. Although I'm the kind of person that I'm like, thanks, Ashley, I have zero desire to learn this. But it was definitely helpful to understand kind of what you did. But then I guess you have both. You have the people who eventually want to learn how to do it themselves. And the people who, like me, are just like, nope, can we just have you take care of that? That'd be great.
And either is fine. I'm happy to help. But I'm also happy to share information. If you would love to learn, then I would love to teach you. So
that's great. Okay. So outside of the automations, there's other services that you guys offer. So tell me a little bit more about some of the other things that you guys do.
So like email deliverability, we will send your email marketing for you. We can write it and send it and schedule it if you'd like. Or sometimes we help a lot with other people that have marketing teams, making sure that emails are ending up in the inbox, because even big, like I follow some bigger people who I'm seeing their emails ending up in the spam or the promotions folder. And I know they're, I'm sure they're doing all the right things. So it just really is a tricky game that you have to make sure you're following up with people, within the 4 months that you first sign them on, and keep contact. And you have to make sure that you double opt them in so they agree to get your emails. So there's a lot of things that go into email these days. So
it's not necessarily just simple as like signing up with an email service and just sending emails. There's a whole process to this.
Yes. Yeah.
But then you can help with that. So if we have a marketing team, you can come in and make sure it's all being set up correctly.
Yeah.
And if we don't, you can also just take over and do all of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. So tell me about some of the other services that you do.
So WordPress websites, either e-commerce or just regular WordPress websites. So that's a big thing that we do, either creating a whole new one, or if you're moving over from another website, or if you just want changes on yours. Google recommends that you do make changes to your website every couple of months, just to say it's part of ranking higher. So if you just leave yours for 2 years with the same information, you're going to slowly drift down. So just if you need us to put up a blog, or if you need us to just change it to say fall sale or spring, whatever little tweaks you need to be made, we do that as part of our service.
So that's why blogging is so important.
Correct.
It's not just trying to push like content and trying to share information. It's also an update to the website that Google views as you have current information.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So websites are not a one and done.
Right.
What? Come on. I want it to be one and done. No, it's a constant, never-ending improvement.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it should be, to keep you up in the top, which is where you would like to rank organically.
And then do you help with keywords and all that stuff?
We do,
so it's not just updating information. There's also a strategy behind the type of information that you put on.
Right. So we look at your competitors. We use Google Keyword, and then we also use Moz Pro. So we'll go and see how you rank against your local competitor. If you're a local business, how you rank, and see like what we need to do to get you higher than the people that are ranking around you. So it is a strategy, and it's not like a one-time thing. You run it, like things change, markets change, words change. So you really need to run it monthly and, tweak your marketing based on that.
And stay on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beauty of this is that this is where I think it's amazing to have somebody like you as a service, because it's almost like a fractional option. I don't have to bring on a full-time marketing person
Right.
to still be able to have this being done for my business.
Right.
And as much as I would love to be able to do it myself, okay, let me just tell you the story of how long it took me. What did I call you? And I almost cried because you did it in 5 minutes and it had taken me like 3 months to try to figure it out. I think it was trying to connect my course material with something. And
the Thrive Cart.
Yes, the Thrive Cart wasn't communicating or something wasn't wrong. And I literally spent hours upon hours trying to Google and like figure out YouTube videos and watching the instructional stuff. And I don't know why I didn't think to reach out to you at first. I guess I had a mind block that like Thrive Cart wasn't something that you could help with.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to mention to you in passing, you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. And literally, I think an hour later, you're like, it's all done. I still, I'm like, oh, okay, it's all done. Okay. And now it's actually working. And it wasn't before. So I think one of the things I know from you is that one of the reasons I had held back too is I didn't know where to even start. So like you don't mind helping people figure out where a good place to start is.
Right. Like I don't have, I know a lot of people always ask like, what are your services exactly? Do you have like, I don't really have prepackaged services. I mean, we have like guidelines, but I really do try to figure out where everyone's business is different and everyone's using, I know a lot of the softwares, and if I don't know it, I can know it tomorrow. So I just like to figure out what is going to be the most helpful in a person's business. So we always start with like a 15-minute call and Zoom call and go over what they're looking to do. Yeah.
Okay. So we all know that entrepreneurship has its fair shares of up and downs. Can you tell me some of the challenges that you faced early on and what you did to overcome them?
Yes. So having to wear all the hats, which I still wear a lot of them, but but that was challenging. Like going from having a job where someone just tells you to do this, and now I have to do that job, but I also have to build them, and I also have to follow up, and I also have to find the new clients, and so it was a lot. Then I actually started putting into practice what I was teaching and automating some of my own stuff. And so that has helped, especially like this last week I've been moving. And so really the only emails going out are the automated ones because I've been so busy. So I'm grateful that I finally did do that for myself. So
that you have systems in place.
Yes. Yeah.
So I laughed when you started to say that because I think that so many of us that are entrepreneurs or business owners tend to do for our clients more than we do for ourselves. And then I was joking. So it's no secret that I don't love to be on camera. And last week I was actually here making some videos and I kept saying like, I hate this. I'm like, no, mindset shift. I need to do this. I need to do this. And then walk the talk. So we tend to focus on our clients and serving our clients more so than ourselves.
Right.
But I love that you touched on the processes. And I think that's something that I wish more people would do. And I wish I would have done more in the beginning, was automating some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Because if I would have done it in the beginning, it would have freed up so much time to be able to do more of the things.
Right.
And you came from corporate. I came from corporate too. And I was so used to having a team to be able to be like, okay, this needs to get done. You got this, you got this, you got this, you got that. And now it's like, okay, well, I'm the you.
Yeah.
Have you seen those like reels where it's like the marketing person and then it switches over and they just change outfits? And I always hit this thing. And then it's like the glasses and now I'm the accountant. And then now it's the bill pay. And then it's just all of the things.
Yeah.
And I just had a conversation earlier with Carrie. We know Carrie from BNI. And I said, I would love to be able to do more networking and more of these events, but I am still providing a service. And then I still also have to do all of the admin pieces. And she's like, yeah, when you figure that out, let me know. Yeah. let me know what the secret is to being able to do all of the things.
Right.
But automation is such a huge piece of it.
It does help a lot. Yes. Especially with the following up with clients, like, just letting someone know like, hey, I heard you. I got your email. I might not be able to do it right now, but I am going to get to you. So that's like, that puts people at ease rather than like, oh my gosh, did you get my email from 2 days ago? Because I was really bad about that. Not, it's just as you start to get busy, it's a time thing. So. Yeah.
So I have a question now that you're saying that. Is there a way to automate a way like where if it's coming from certain email addresses, like can I flag my client email addresses so that once they email, it'll pop up to the top of my inbox or something?
I actually do that with you. I have one for all my clients. I set up a filter in my Gmail to like flag it. And so I can see the important things first, not the Costco emails or, so because I get overwhelmed by email and I just really need to see like the important things. So yeah, filtering is huge. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that later,
Yeah.
when we're not sitting here in front of a camera. But that is one of the things that I know is not just me, because I just had this conversation with another person last week. And one of the things that she was saying is that she wanted to bring on an assistant, because even just getting through the spam emails, and I'm finding that for me to even just sit down and start to clear out my inbox, I don't have any more time, and I haven't even gotten through all the spam.
Right. And it's like 45 minutes later and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes. And then I'm finding now where I'll have missed an email from a client with the question or something, and it was super simple. I could have addressed it. I just didn't even see it.
Right.
And so, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's another automation idea for anybody that's wondering. You can filter. And again, this all seems so simple. And I've heard of filters before. I just honestly, I'm so used to it from like Outlook or whatever. So for Gmail, I haven't quite figured it out yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't filter quite right for me. Awesome. I love that. Okay. All right, Ashley, tell me, where do you see Get Me Automated going in the future? And what are some of the growth plans that you're most excited about?
So we've been looking into hiring from the UCF. So hiring some people, which would be great. I need some help. But in the future, I would like to have, other people that are smarter than me helping to, with our services and helping with automation. So it's not just me, because right now I'm the center of it, which I love. But in order for us to grow, I will need to hire other people to help. I like our services, and I would like to be doing the same thing. I'd just like to do it at more of a scale where I can take myself out of the center and just kind of, because that's where I'm actually best, is the bigger plans. I like talking to the clients and finding out what do we need to do. And then if I could hand that over to someone who is able to do that, that would be amazing, or a team of people that could help me do that.
So I like to say you're ready to move into your CEO role.
Yes.
Right? Like you're ready to move into the CEO role of your business.
Yes.
So that you can have the big picture vision,
right,
do the networking, the relationship building, and then have the person that can execute.
Right. Yes.
And you mentioned a key piece, hiring someone that's smarter than you.
Right.
And I think that's something that I always consider when I'm looking at outsourcing. I'm like, okay, can I figure this out? Yes, eventually. Like, I'm smart enough to know that if I were to sit down and spend hours trying to figure out Thrivecart, eventually maybe I would have figured it out. But working with someone who is smarter, I much rather, it was so much better time and money spent to pay you to do it in less time and to be done.
Right.
And then to work with somebody who is an expert in their field. So for me, I'm growing and I'm scaling, but I've aligned myself with strategic partnerships that are allowing me to offer a better solution for myself or for even my clients, and then growing versus being the bottleneck. I like to say that I'm the bottleneck in my business right now.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I definitely feel like I am. So
it's like I'm keeping myself from being able to grow.
Yes.
Because I am involved in so many pieces. Like if I'm the touch point and you're relying on me for the next step, there's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
There's only so much that you can do.
But I feel like there is the reason why I haven't done this sooner is because there is I get a lot of offers for other companies that want to white label, but I feel like that's not the direction I want to go, because as companies are hiring me. And so I feel like that's a misrepresentation if I were to hand that off to another company when they're, so I feel like I want to get to the point where it's someone on my team that so it's keeping it in-house. That's something I'm big about. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the models work different for different people.
Right.
And it depends on what you're doing and how you're going to white label.
Right.
And so I think this is one of those where you can get an idea and figure out, does this model work for you? And if it does, fantastic. And if it doesn't, here's the other option.
Right.
And so there's certain things that white labeling actually works really, really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
But my son asked me the other day, he goes, do you ever see yourself hiring another photographer? And right now the answer is no.
Right.
Videographer, sure.
Yeah.
I will bring on another videographer all day long because I can do video, but not as well as a videographer who that is what they do.
Right.
But the photography part,
that's you. That's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
It's what I love. And honestly, I love what I can bring out of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So being on session with my clients and doing that piece. And I guess I can't ever say never.
Right.
They say never say never, because I guess at some point I've been watching other people in my industry, and you do get to the point where in order to offer more services and to be able to grow, and if I want to cut back, because I only want to shoot so many days of the year.
Right.
So I get to the point where I'm maxed out. And then if we're growing, we would add more services. But as of right now, my answer is no. I still want to be the brand photographer.
Right.
But I do see myself at some point getting to the place where maybe I do want to bring on somebody. But I think in that case, I would want to be very transparent and be like, listen, you can come on and you would be working with maybe this person that I trained, or having if you want to work with me, you can at this other level.
Right.
I don't know. That's just something I'm thinking about. But I love the white label, but doesn't work for you and your model.
Right.
But I think that also, so here's my question. How do you know you're ready now? Like you've been doing this for a few years, yeah?
Almost 5, yeah.
Okay, so you've been 5 years in business. Your kids work with you some, but then how do you know like now is the time that you're ready to bring on and you're looking at doing like an intern? Or are you actually hiring someone for UCF? Are you ready to go with the full-time person?
I would love someone to come on full-time. Right now we just we're in the internship program. And I would like to do that first just to see if we're a good fit and see if they love it. Like, I mean, it is a different business. It's remote. So obviously that's a perk, but I just want to make sure that it's someone who's motivated and obviously, like I said, smarter than me. So, because I'm really looking to like hand things off and just be like, you got it. Yeah. I mean, I think that does exist. So
we'll manifest that for you. It does exist. This person is out there somewhere. We just have to go find them and let them find you.
Yeah.
So what were some of the key points or things that you were finding in your business? Like, I think that's a common question I get is when is the right time to bring on somebody else? Because that's scary to me.
Yes. Oh, no, it is. And because I have tried years ago and I got a bad experience just because I spent so much time at a very busy time training someone and then it didn't work out. And it was like, oh my gosh, I could have used all that time to actually been doing the work that I was so busy with. So that was frustrating. And that happened again. And so I kind of got just like a bad taste in my mouth from that, but it's okay. Like now I'm at a point where I'm just slammed again. And obviously that's not a right time to train somebody, but we have over the past couple of years, we've been putting all of our processes, documenting them all. So I have everything into teamwork. Everything that we do we have like time estimates. So I think I'm a lot more organized than I was years ago and I should work better this time. So
this is where automation is going to definitely come in handy for you. And I think that's a pain point. So I know that many of us, and this is back from like my corporate days too, we tend to hire when there's an overabundance of need. But then in order to train someone when you're in that state, it's really, really challenging.
Right.
But so the biggest difference now that you feel like you're ready is that, I'm going to just reiterate it, because if you missed it, it's systems. So you actually have your standard operating procedures. You have it outlined. And then there's a key difference that I don't usually hear mentioned. You said something about time. Like, you know how much time it should take somebody?
Correct. Yes. Because that was one of the things when this last time I tried to hire someone. So Hunter, he works with me. And so he's very honest. Obviously, this is his company too with his time and so we have everything like this took you 17 minutes, this took you 42 minutes. And so we know like his tasks, like how, we have an average time. And so this other person we had hired was trying to say that something took like 4 hours and it was like a 5-minute thing. And so just like that kind of, and when I talked to them and I was like, is this something you're not understanding or were you just trying to milk time, because that does happen. So I think having an understanding of what it should take. And so we can gauge like, is this person just need more training or maybe they're not going to be a right fit. So
not a good
that
fit.
should help.
I love that. So those are key. That's super helpful. So when you're getting to and honestly, my recommendation is like, as you're starting out, just document what you're doing.
Right.
And so I've actually I have a VA that I work with, and anytime I go to train her, I'm recording it now because I'm like, okay, if at any point she ever decides to leave me, now I have this already written down,
right,
recorded, right? So that way I can just send it versus having to take the time to do it all over again.
Right.
But then I'm finding myself and I'm wanting to do better. There's certain things I want to train on, and every time I go to do it, I finish it. I'm like, I should have totally recorded myself doing that. So that way, when I go to train someone, I'm ready to let this go. Right.
That was such an issue for me years ago. Even when I started having Hunter help, it's a lot of things are like onesie twosies, like you don't really need, so I would just do it and then not ever teach him how to do it. So it was all, as these things were coming in, it was always on my lap. So finally I just had to make myself like, even though this is probably wasting time right now, I'm going to teach him. And it's helped because, oh my gosh, like the amount of things he can help me with now, it's like, I'm glad I did that. So take the time.
It's little things like to take the time, and it hurts now.
Right.
But then just think about like, okay, I'll use a perfect example. I send emails out for the BNI group. And for me to do all of the ones that were coming in, I was like, oh, okay. But I had to sit down and I'm like, okay, it's going to take me 3 times as long to train my VA to do this. Let me just tell you, every time one of those pops in and I can just forward it to her and I just say like, hey, or please, and thank you. Like there's no more direction needed. I just don't want to just send an email.
Right.
And sometimes honestly, like I'll send 10. And so she gets a please and thank you in the first one. And the next 9 are like just forwarded emails. But that has been so helpful.
Yes. And when you finally have someone, like just even taking little things off your shoulders is nice. So
I just have to keep reminding myself that it doesn't all have to be done by me.
Yes.
Like, and then honestly, this mantra, like done is better than perfect. I'm a very big perfectionist, but sometimes done is just better than perfect. Like it just has to get out. But I think it's systems systemizing your processes and writing it down and recording it. And then that was a key piece though. Like I love that is the how long should it take?
Yes.
Because that has been a big pain point for me in the looking at how long somebody was taking to do something and being like, okay, I know I'm fast at it because I do it all the time, but did that really take you all day?
Right.
Like that.
And you're like, you don't know if you should get onto them or if like really they're just learning, like you don't know like how to talk to them. Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, okay, so something that should take me 20 minutes, I want to give you a window and I understand that you needed to learn how to do it, but I just don't think all day was the thing. And I do find that when I lead with, this should take you about X amount of time, which I learned through the hard process of this non-right fit, right? Like I started shifting the narrative and I'm like, okay, so this project should take about X, but I still haven't outlined that for all my procedures. But that is like, that's one of my takeaways from today is that I need to have how much time it takes for something in addition to my systems.
Right.
Okay. So what is your number one tip for someone who is in the thick of trying to decide, do I hire? Do I not? And I want you to consider the overwhelm. So like all of this sounds great in theory, right? Mm-hmm. Like I would love to have all my systems in place. I would love to have standard operating procedures in place. I would love to have videos for all of it. Reality is that's going to take me a hot minute.
Right.
So what would be your number one tip for someone like me who is like, okay, just it's all in the weeds.
For when is it time to hire?
Yes. Like, or when do you just take the jump? Like, what would be your recommendation? Do you take the jump? Do you take the difficult task of like putting some of those systems in place? What would be your recommendation?
I would definitely I would get some systems into place ahead of time because like I have a client and they have they have a construction business and they love to just hire people and there's no systems and they just tell the new hire like, hey, why don't you organize it for us? And that's like such a wrong way this person is new and you as the business owner are supposed to be telling them how you would like it to go. So, and I'm guilty of doing that too. It's like, come in and help me. But that's like, you need to tell them not to come and save you. You need to tell them like, this is what we're doing. And people, that's what they're coming in to be an employee. That's what they're looking for. They want to know, how can I do it the right way so that I can help your business? So
that's what you're saying is to come in and save me and figure this out. It's not the way to do it. Okay, noted. I may or may not have done that. Sorry. Oh, I love it. Okay, so I love all that. I'm still laughing over the mistakes I have made in my own business. But I'd like to shift over to talking about your experience working with me and Branding by Jo. So can you just give me an overview? Because you're one of my subscription clients. Mm-hmm. So the first time we worked together, you actually committed to doing several more sessions. Right. And I think we're just wrapping up on a year, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So tell me about that experience.
Right. So being in front of the camera is not one of my top favorite things. So, but I know that I needed to do it. So I think my first session, I was nervous, a lot more nervous, but you made it, I mean, the pictures turned out amazing and you were patient and like really made, like you stopped, like I think I told you at one point, I was like, I don't even know. Like I just had a little melty and you were like, okay, we'll just stop. And like thank you. You made me really comfortable. And then, so since then I feel like I've been working with Andrea, the stylist, and that's been great. Like, over each time it gets better and I'm finding out like what clothes look good in my pictures. So that's a huge help because if I had lived and left to my own devices, I wouldn't be wearing such cute outfits.
It's such a pain point. That's why it's a service. That was such a pain point.
And then I really like the makeup. I've worked with Becca and then the other Zulema. They're great with the makeup. That's another huge thing, like with getting your photos done. I mean, your makeup is different when you're on camera. And so it feels like a lot, but it always looks like really great. And then working with like this last time with you and your assistant, that was really, it's like I was steaming my clothes today and I was thinking about your assistant, how she took over doing that for me, which was so nice. Like, because like, it was, the steam was making my makeup. Yeah. So like, I mean, you guys were helping with everything, like, and getting the hair out of my face and making sure I sit right. So like everything, like you guys really put in a lot of extra work. And I know you planned all of my shots and with the way, the couch and having everything line up. So I know you put in a lot of time and I'm really appreciative. I love all the photos. So.
Oh, yay. It's been so much fun. And I think planning is what helps so much with the minimizing of some of the anxiety.
Yes.
Because it's like, if you walk in and I know for me what to wear and then the hair and the makeup, I love that you guys get to sit and just kind of get pampered for a little bit. And then you walk in and it's the best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. We're not doing glamour shots makeup here, ladies. We're doing natural makeup. And then Yes, I love guiding. And as much as last week, I was like, what do I do with my hands? Like, that's honestly like the biggest piece. And so I love to be able to be a part of helping you and guide you through the journey. So, question, if anybody is watching and they are thinking about branding and they're hearing how much it's helped you, but they're hesitant, what would be your piece of advice?
I mean, I think this is like the biggest boost in my business over the last year for sure. It's getting these photos. Like, I mean, it's changed like my website, my social media, like even my proposals that I sent out, I use these photos. So I definitely, I mean, it's such a difference than like photos that I would try to take of myself, like a selfie, like it just like it puts you up there and you're just looked at as a lot more professional. So
I love that.
Yeah.
It really does increase your credibility.
Yeah.
And it helps you boost your visibility. But the biggest piece is just, like you said earlier, that it's making the effort of creating all the things that you need so much easier.
Right.
Because you have it. And then it really does change the game.
Yeah.
Like you just come across much more professional. Okay. So this ties in with your mantra, right? Like here's your piece of advice, your best business advice. What was it?
Just go do it. That's just because like I also struggle with like perfectionism and like, it's not exactly right. So I don't want to put it out into the world. My website didn't go out until like a year of me being in business. Like that's crazy. Like I said, I just had like word of mouth stuff. So I didn't really need a website. So, but that was just because I was afraid to put it out into the world. So that's my advice was just go do it and not be afraid. And like you said, done is better than perfect. So
yes. So just go do it, or done is better than perfect. Either one of those mantras work really, really well. Well, Ashley, thank you so much. Is there any last piece of advice or anything else you want to cover?
No, I thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I really appreciate you taking the time. And if you've been watching this video, thank you so much. And if you would like to get in touch with Ashley and get me automated, tell me where is the way that we can find you or ways that we can find you.
Just getmeautomated.com and you can click on chat and we can have a call.
And her automations are perfect and in place. And she can, if you are unsure on where to even start, she'd be happy to have a conversation to help you. So thank you again for watching. Please make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And if you are interested in any branding or hearing this conversation, you are ready to get it done, let me know. I would love to have a conversation about how I can help you with your branding journey.